And so let me welcome Professor Marcello Dei from the Faculty of Sociology and the University of Urbino. He teaches sociology of education, and he has published a book called Ragazzi si copia, Boys Let's Copy, which is a research which shows the art of copying in Italian schools with a specific attention to the behavior of teachers on this subject. He's going to give us a presentation. The interesting title is The Resistible Rise of Copying in the Classroom, from childhood to adolescence, which leads me to think that things have not changed that much since 30 years ago. I thought, well, maybe things are getting better, but I only have the impression now that things are getting much more organized. So maybe they don't use carbon copy anymore. They use internet access in the classroom. But the final result is still the same. And we are hopefully going to see it including some interesting data which will be provided by Professor Dei. So.
I will try to tell you what I did in my research time in the last about 6 years regarding the phenomenon of copiare, that's copy, or we say cheating in the school, in the Italian school. My work was done in 2 steps. The first step is beginning from high, that is from the students of the upper secondary school. And then 2 or 3 years later, when this survey was finished, I began with the next step, that is backwards, from elementary school class 5th, the last class of the elementary school, and then this under secondary school. The first step was beginning with the adolescence. That's people that are attending school between 16 and 19 years, at the end of the upper secondary. And then I was curious to what is coming, this phenomenon, and I went back to the primary school and under secondary school. The research was done with two samples, pretty large, as you can see. Maybe there is total for first class, 5th class, elementary, and under secondary. So many people there were. The second one, in order of time, I did. And the first, there were 2,649 that were the first and the second. Shortly, I would say some 2 words regarding the survey, secondary, upper secondary, adolescents, 16, 19. And I would say they are coming out 3 points, the most important point or main point, and the phenomenon, we'd say this phenomenon of copy is not studied, never studied before. In the school as a practice, and what people think was never asked in the school, in Italian school. Other countries I can't say exactly, but generally in the school the problem is student violence, vandalism, that is a lot of money and I didn't get any money, but was in view with these people that are getting money for research on violence in the school, but cheating in the school, no. But I began. So, and the 3 points for the older students, 16, 17, 19, we can reassume in 3 points. The phenomenon is very spread in the school. If you ask people, students, it went that 2 students every 3, like 65%, say, they declare, yes, we do it or often or sometime. That's the first point. Second point, this behavior, because I was intended to understand the behavior, deviant behavior was not such at the eyes of the people. They didn't. That is not. We don't recognize as a prohibition, as a commandment not to cheat. It's cancelled for us. How many students, 16, 19 years old, 85% said, or it's a small prohibition or not at all be too prohibited. And third question, so they don't condemn this behavior. It's normal one, it's normalized. Not only normalized, the third point, is banalized. What I mean that they behave so, they cheat in the school without any pathos. It's routine. You understand what I mean? It's routinized. I got some question more from these things, and I asked myself what it's about, when is beginning it, when? And so back to the elementary and middle school, first step, that is between 10 years and 13. And what did it happen? If you look here, the first column is the table refers to the frequent, how many they copy or cheat in the school. The answer, you see there are statements, spaces often, sometime, rarely, you can translate better than me, and never, or missing answer. But the first 4 lines are these. And if you can compare what is happening for the younger people in the school, that is for the pupils, and there, the first column, often they cheat 4.7%. They answer often, spesso. And you see, secondary, that is they are the older pupils, the students, they are 5 times more. They are no more less than 5%. They are nearby 25%. We do often to copy, to cheat in the school. If you say sometime, the trend is the same. It's growing by the growing older. So you can understand that the question. You understand now that I can think that the beginning is before, long time before. The phenomenon has roots in the elementary school, and then by socialization, school socialization will go up. But the second question I said, the questions are a lot, but I tell you only 3 more, and I said you 3. When these people, younger people, older people, I can compare. I asked them in different times, but just by the same question, say the methodology, And the technique was just the same for being comparable, you understand, to compare that. And I did. The second question, what do you feel after you did copy and you were happily not caught? What did you feel deep in your... That was... And here in the first column, the table number 2, there are the statements. Maybe you can understand yourself. Sense of inferiority feeling. And what is? I say that inferiority feeling in the elementary and the first grade schools was 7%, and the one growing and prima media, the first class, was 10, and then was grading down from 10 to 7 and 5%. If I say the culpa, guilt, showed 30% in the smaller, in the younger people, and will be 13 by their friends and by their companions of the secondary, upper secondary. 3 times less. And joy I saw. I see, but it is growing just a little. For getting quicker, you can compare the first and the last column, that is. But you can show also what is happening there between in the following classes of the schools, if you have time and if you look. It's important also. But what's important is that no sentiment, no feeling, I don't feel anything at all, is indifference. And that is also growing from elementary 10% and 3 times and 6 times more. People, I told you at the beginning, I told you that it is that is banalized. I say what is no pathos. You do it freely. You feel nothing at all. What do you feel? Nothing. Or maybe sollievo, relief. Sollievo is relief. And that is also pretty high. There are more than a quarter of the students or pupils. That is not a difference between younger and older. 1 every 4 is telling, I feel relief, I'm better. That's other answer you see. From this table, I guess that is the state of situation, the question that is not particularly alive, this feeling, or not feeling at all. It's a normal, it's in the real, everyday thing. Next step is if you condemn, you think that's to condemn the behavior, the cheating behavior. And that is also a different answer. We begin from molto, this so very, pretty, just a little, not at all, is coming down, and you can see what is happening. People who condemn are the much younger, the first column, and they is grading down by growing the alta. That is German. You understand maybe something. What is the trend? It's not difficult to understand that people, when socialize, when they stay longer in the school, when, of course, the adolescence is terrible period. There is a rhetoric regarding the hormonal storm, so no, of course. But the storm is going to the direction you get and you have in the school, and in the school you have, with a getting larger. The phenomenon is getting larger and larger. And so, the last question, fourth and last question, The summary is very strong. There are different statements. The question is so. Who is hurt by the cheating in the school? Who is harmful to copy? But copying is harmful or innocent? That is the question. You see the fourth, maybe, is the fourth next to step in. What is here? Copiare chi nuoce, chi danneggia. Who or what is hurted by this behavior? Why? It's harmful, if it's harmful or not at all. And we see, yes, cheating is harmful for the studentesses, for the self-student or pupil. If that is the philosophy. If you copy, you don't study enough. And later, you will be damaged by your self-behavior. That's why you don't hurt other people but yourself. You understand what I mean? The second, you hurt people we studied and are fair. Don't copy. And what is the difference? You see here that 13% younger people, 17% older people. They have more conscience. And il professore, the teacher of this subject, they seldom by the people, younger people, and more is grew some percent, but older one, 12 are. But what is most important is this statement, next statement, the third one. Here we are telling the people the common good, the common interest as a civic dimension. And we say the people, younger people, 5%. And older people, they are grown. But only 9.3%. That is more than 90% of these younger or older pupils doesn't realize what is a civic dimension. You understand? I hope you can let me understand. This is the most important of our result in this. The evidence is showing what is so are the roots of the common good feeling in this country. We knew before, but now we can see. We can also tell that it's growing by all the growing, but anyway, it's a very small minority that thinking about this. Even if you give the statement, they were not a free answer. We set the same set of statements to the people, to the younger, to the older, and was chosen only by so restricted part of them. What can I say? That is what I feel is more terrible things is this last one. And we can think that why in the primary school the phenomenon is not so deep. I think it's maybe that because adolescence is a very terrible period for biological reasons. But I think that is much more important, the socialization you get in the school. And what I can't try because my English is finished, if any, is that the question, what do teachers and educators do on front of this reality? I can answer with a small word. Practically nothing. You can, it's rarely, there are some teachers that are severe, they will punish also, but they're not the majority, they're a small minority. And when, even if it's punish the people, cut, doesn't speak about. Speaking about cheating in the school in Italy, but maybe not only in Italy, is something is not nice to speak about. It's why to speak about. Or you remember, yes, all the people, you say, did you copy my, oh, when I was young. I say, reading, no, it's a telling, it's an history regarding the youth, nice time when I was young. Like the military service, when you were a soldier. When I was a soldier, it was horrible, but I remember only I was young, and that's why I say, oh, wonderful time. And so what about this? It's not, maybe there is a moralistic vein in my work. I don't think so. I was teacher before in the university. Teaching, I was in the middle school, and I know the phenomenon I had to do with pupils, with pupils, and so is, I know that is other, what is important is to answer to another question as larger than me. This phenomenon is spread everywhere in the world, but in some places it's stronger than in other places. In the States, I think they do exactly the dimension, the first table one, the frequency is nearby the same. But it's different, what people had in their mind. In Italy, the difference is they copy more or less, I don't know, maybe the same. What is different is inside their brain. They think that it's not, it's a normal, and it's a small, we say, what is, you understand, vietato, forbidden. And then we have a diminutive, copiare, vietatino. For not Italian, it's not easy to understand, but the category, mental, philosophical category, philosophical as you like, category is, this vietatino is vietato, but not about long time speak about why. And so that is equipment. When you discover this reality in the school, you have difficulties because I would say you can do. Maybe you don't like what is evidence and the sociology that's banal and everything. But try to do this small experiment. When you are on television, on internet, set different language, copiare a scuola, cheating in the school, copier à l'école, or Schwindel in der Schule, und gucken, and look what is coming out. You can find different culture through this small experiment you can do this time.